Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the studies. Today, we will discuss all the cartoons which are given in your textbook and of chapter one. In this, we can see the first cartoon is it is a cartoon which depicts the effort of the countries of European Union to make a common constitution for all the member countries. European Union is an association of European countries, and it was made only for the purpose of economy and trade, but later on it became a political organization also, and the members were made attempt to make a common constitution for all the countries of the European Union, but their attempt they were not successful in their attempt as the views of all the countries were completely different from each other, and they were not able to reach a consensus regarding the provisions of the constitution. So it was a failed attempt. By this, it is the message is conveyed that to draw a constitution, to frame a constitution is not an easy task. The people who are responsible for making the constitution have to make a balance between different views and ideology, and it is not easy to reach that balance, and it is depicted by the effort of the member countries of European Union. Now we are going to the another cartoon. In this cartoon what we see that uh, there are two groups of people, and both the groups are completely different to each other. Their demands are completely different to each other. One group is demanding that Janagana Mana should be the national anthem of India, and the other group is demanding that Vande Mataram should be the national anthem of India. So, in front of the prominent leaders of Constituent Assembly, such as Nehru, it was a very tough task to balance different views, to reach a balance between different ideologies and different views. If In order to make a constitution, it is very much important that views and opinions of different groups should be kept into mind, and the constitution should be made in such a way that the demand of all the groups can be satisfied to a large extent. And in this regard, what we find that when India became independent, in our constitution, it was adopted, Janagana Mana was adopted as national anthem, and Vande Mataram was adopted as national song. And in this way, our constitution makers try to balance different ideologies and views of the members of the Constituent Assembly. Now we see this cartoon. This is a scene of different. This is the scene of the Constitution Assembly members of Iraq. After the end of the Saddam Hussein government in Iraq, there was a need of a new constitution, and members of the Constituent Assembly were belonging to different ethnic groups such as Shias, Sunnis, and Kurds were there, and all of them wanted the provisions of the constitution according to their own need. They were not ready to accommodate or to adjust with each other, and in this way, this type of situation arose where people belonging to different ethnic groups are fighting with each other. They are not having any consensus on the provisions of the constitution, and this caused a lot of delay and disagreement between them. Now we are moving to another cartoon, a new cartoon that is coming in front of you. In this cartoon, what we see that the cartoonist describes the new Iraqi constitution as the castle of cards. It is compared with castle of cards because, as we know, that castle of card is a very highly unstable thing, and it can collapse by a mild blow of wind. Uh, in the same way, the Iraqi constitution was so much flexible. The provisions of the Iraqi constitution can be changed so easily that it became highly unstable. And that is the reason the cartoonist is comparing Iraqi constitution with castle of cards. Now we are switching to another one. And in this picture, we see that the president of the Constituent Assembly, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, and the chairman of the drafting committee, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, both are greeting each other. And this is the statement of Dr. Rajendra Prasad, which I am going to read for you. I have realized as nobody else could have, with what zeal and devotion the members of the drafting committee and especially its chairman Dr. Ambedkar, in spite of his indifferent health, have worked. We could never make a decision which was or could be ever so right as when we put him on the drafting committee and made him its chairman. He has only not only justified his selection but has added luster to the work which he has done. In this connection, indeed it would be invidious to make any distinction as among the other members of the committee. I know they have all worked with the same zeal and devotion as its chairman, and they deserve the thanks of the country. So, in this through paragraph, what we find that Dr. Rajendra Prasad is expressing his gratitude towards Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the effort, the intelligence, his wisdom, all things were used in order to draft the constitution. As he was the chairman of the drafting committee, that is the reason he is called the father of the Indian constitution. So, in this way, Dr. Andhra Prasad is expressing the gratitude on behalf of the whole country towards Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Now, this is another picture of a constituent assembly where Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is presiding over a discussion. And what he says, this is his statement. One likes to ask whether there can be anything new in a constitution framed at this hour in the history of the world. The only new thing, if there can be any, in a constitution framed so late in the day are the variations made to remove the faults and to accommodate it to the needs of the country. As I told you earlier when I was discussing the last segment of the chapter, that it is alleged that Indian constitution is a bag of borrowing, but it will not be an appropriate term to use for Indian constitution because Indian constitution was made at very late. The time when Indian constitution was made was very late. By that time, there were many constitutions were existing, not only existing, but they were in practice for hundreds of years. So, at this time of history, it was if someone was expecting that India will produce a constitution which will be totally unique and new, that is not possible. what was possible, what was best, what best can be done by the makers of Indian Constitution was to remove the faults of the provisions of other constitution and accommodate it according to the needs of the people of India, and that was exactly done by the constituent members of the members of the Constituent Assembly, and in this way, India produced a constitution which can be said to be the one of the most successful constitutions in the world. Now your chapter has came to an end. Now you are supposed to do the read the chapter carefully and do these question answers which is given in the back of your chapter. These questions are very much important for you. Now after this we are going to start the second chapter, and now we will meet tomorrow. Okay.